Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here in this meeting. First of all, congratulations. You are part of the shortlisted of the round three. We are very excited about that. And that I can say that our 19 partnerships selected for this stage. And the aim of this work plan of this webinar is to explain you more details about the work plan and budget that you and the tier of change that you need to submit in the full proposal. This, as you see, this meeting is been recording, so we'll share with you in the next days, as well as we will share. And only if you can have your microphones in silent, or maybe Apollonia Kevin can help me to silence the people. And also, if you can type your questions in the chat, we will try to answer some of them during this webinar, and at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. So the agenda for today is okay. Is today we'll have like a brief welcoming and then explain you the main objectives of the work plan and budget. Then Apollonia will explain this eligibility and non-eligible cost share and expenses that you need to you can have in your work plan and budget, and which is the template that you will use. And finally, Kevin will explain you what we refer with the curve of change and what is expected in the M&A indicators. What are the next steps that you need to consider, and the key deadlines, and then we'll have time for the Q&A. Okay, this is a very brief, just to I think it's important to mention, and then why are some activities that want to support you or not. P4G is an organization that is composed by different members. We are very excited and hopeful that you will be part of this initiative, and we work in different 5 sectors. So where the sectors where some of you are working in one or more than those, and the countries where we have representation. We work with the national platform at national level with different platforms as well. Our main aim is enable the market system for climate transitions. So what are the key 3 activities that you will be involved? The first one is this enable locally based green business to become investment ready. Is where you are the key part, and is where we provide this grant funding and technical assistance. Remember, as we mentioned in the public webinar that I imagine that most of you were present, that the most important is the technical assistance that you will receive. The grant, that is the part that will talk about that, and how is expected to use these resources, is the tool to help you to achieve this investment readiness and work in the different sectors. We work with in the second activity, we work in country. So you can be considered that support you is not isolated. So you will be working with the different national platforms, and the differentiator of P4G is that we have these national platforms where we are working, that is including the private sector and the government. And once if you are selected and we start to work with you, we'll help you working with the different national platforms in engagement to improve what is already like an innovative and additional in the market, and to make it like a reality, and how this can be scaled and proved to make a really an impact in your country. So what we want to work is in this, helping to improve the enable of the market system, understanding what are the policy barriers that you can have in the sector and the specific activities, and to challenge in the general for do business in the country. And what we want to do is, in the third activity, is collect that lessons. So collect all the sharing, all the knowledge that you have, and transfer to others, not only in the country, not only in your region. You will have the opportunity to go further. We will have a next summit in a few months in Vietnam, where it's expected that maybe you can attend for those that they will be selected. Also, we wanted to have some case studies that I will talk briefly where we refer about that, and have the opportunity to present with different workshops with different investors and different stakeholders and community. So now we are going to the specifics, no? So as I mentioned, in this stage that you are shortlisted, and I send you an email with the detailed instructions. And if you have any questions about that, also you can send me an email, or we can have a Q&A of that, no? So the difference of the concept note and the full proposal is that you need to submit mainly a full detail of the work plan and budget, where we'll see the detail of the expected activities that you aim to perform during the implementation of your partnership, and that needs to be aligned with the curve of change that we also review. So, what are the expectations of the use of this grant? So the most important thing is that those activities are directly aligned with the curve change of P4G. And that means will help you to accomplish the target and the specific outcomes and goals. You will see now that there is one section that has the work plan, that is, you have a specific objective to achieve in this period, as well as you will have a specific outcomes for longer term, goals and outcomes. And how will help you with this? There are some activities that you can perform that we can pay for some of them, and also you can provide cost share. The most important is that those activities are related with help you to enhance investment readiness of the business model of the early stage, improve your financial case, and make more easy or more smooth do your operations. So what we mean with that is that we understand that sometimes you, as part of your day-to-day, you need to pay for some operational activities. That is normal. But what we prefer with the use of our resources is to help you with those key activities that will help you to achieve the level to maintain the operational activities without no problem. So we don't want that we will pay you for all the operations now, and then, or not all, but in general, an important part for the operational capital, and we'll see the rules of that. But then at the end of the implementation, you will not have the capacity to maintain that level. What we want to help you is to establish and to what are those key activities that I am going to the second part of this slide, the key activities that will help you to achieve that level and in the medium term. So remember, our 18 months of implementation, and Apollonia will explain that, were between 18 and 24 months, that we need to be very efficient of those, which are those key activities that will help you to maintain in the level and the indicators and the impact that we want. So which are the kind of activities that we prefer to support is and needs to be reflected in your business plan. It's not all of them, depends of your case, it's case by case, depends of the status of your operation, but is something that is related to strengthen your business model, and that will help you to understand more how can be the supply channels, the scalability, how you can improve your current process, the understanding of the market, the understanding of possible alliance that you can have with others, and the corporate governance, like is related with the legal structure policies for your own company, the ESG indicators, even that some of you already explained that in the concept note. Is important that we can use those resources to strengthen that initiative and the alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals. That is a very key important part that every time more investors are looking. So how you are making an impact with the specific metrics and practices. So we can support you with that. How you are really understanding the market. So that is a product or service that you are offering, really have a target demand, a target in your market demand, make it a value proposition, the total, and you understand that all of you already, like the most of you already mention who is your target and what are the total available market, and that can be you can address, but it's important the specific strategies that you have very clear, no? So for those that are more weakest in that part, is important that our resources can be allocated for that. And even some key the financial projections. Also, all of you send us those financial projections. You need to submit it again in this proposal, but maybe we can make some refining of that, have a clear base of what are those projections. No, so it's something that we can help you, as well as for the commercial and growth that can have related with the how make an analysis of your costs and make a more structured revenue, the expansion plans, or how you can be developed like new. It's not, we are not paying for any pilot, but it's more how you can prove these technology adoptions or key partnerships that you have. No, so this is a kind of examples that we want to aim to see in your work plan and budget, and that is very important that we focus on that rather than in operational capital. So in your work plan and budget, and all of this is in the guidelines, we are making some improvements of language to be more clear of what is allowed and what is not, and what we aim. So it's important that you can download the guidelines in the next week to the latest version. If you have any questions, just tell us. And also all I will send this presentation by email and the recording, and you can see the template that is in the webpage. So in that template, you will see that we have, and in the guidelines, 4 different mandatory activities that are in the template, that are in one specific line that you need to allocate resources, and for those resources, which is the specific activity that we are expecting for you to have. So for the enable system work, we are talking about the understanding of your policy and regulatory framework. We are not expecting any change of law, any lobbying, any publication, but what we are expecting is that you fully understand what is there and how you can understand it better. No, so that can include engagement with the national platforms, like specific activities to engage with them. And also we are expecting that you can develop a policy brief, white paper, report, but remember, it's not for lobbying a change of law. We are not expecting that you will change the law, and we don't aim for that in this period even, no? It's more for how you fully understand that and what are the barrier, challenge, or even the success that under the current framework you are acting. Working with the national platform will be helping to face those barriers that you have, no? So how we collect that understanding. In the second section, in the knowledge product, that also my colleague Kevin would talk more about, that is that it's also a case study, but for the success of lessons that you have for the journey of the business, no? And to make it more investable, to attract more to investment, or to raise that journey that you collect the journey that you have. So it depends of each of the cases. For some can be more about the market, or different sectors that you can have, no? So we want to collect that. That is a case study where you can write that, you will allocate resources for that, and it's important in that now you can tell us more about the specific what you are expecting to do. For the investor due diligence is what we have during once that if you are selected, what we will run is an investor due diligence assessment that is run by a different agency, and that I will explain in the next. But in this part, you will only allocate resources for contingencies in case that after your assessment of the due diligence, you need to reallocate some activities in your business plan. Once that we approve your business plan, we cannot change the cap of the amount that you request. No, so that's why the contingencies is in case that we need to relocate resources because we cannot increase the amount of the total budget. We can have that space, no, for possible recommendations of the due diligence. In case that is not needed, also we can relocate it. And the last one, the environmental, social, and governance, as I mentioned, is very important that you can consider to develop or to improve your current ESG strategy. No, so is very important that after or during the implementation, you can have at least something to work or that you can already work in that I mentioned that is a very important element for the impact investment that are looking. So we want to support you on that. So these two are those activities that are procured and funded by P4G. What means that you don't need to allocate resources for that. We are hiring the consultants, the consultant firm that are in charge for each of these activities, and is for a third party. And also we are hiring and selecting directly, no, but we'll be involved with your process. So we'll be with this investor due diligence and gap assessment that I was mentioning is an external party that is doing and will do an assessment in the first 3 months of your part of the implementation of your partnership, and that what will review is the specific status of your business. Once that you are selected, if you are awarded, we will send you a list of materials that is important that you can submit, that is more understanding, not only the full proposal that you submit, it will request additional information of your company to tell us that will be part of the analysis to tell you which is the status, which are those recommendations. Maybe they are more related with the policy, with the market, with the alliance that you need to do. No, so it's a really good benefit for your partnership. And in the budget, the only thing that you need to allocate is the contingencies. You don't need to allocate for hire. The investor due diligence is something that we are paying. And also remember that all the projects the P4G resources as well as the cost share will be audited. We are procure and funded that audit. Is an external firm also that will, after the implementation of your partnership, will audit the resources that were allocated for the P4G initiative. So it's important that you can, if you are awarded, you will see the details in the subgrant, but you need to collect all the details for that, and you'll have an audit at the end. So now, Apollonia, you want to continue? Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I want to take you through the work plan and budget planning and what you are required or what is expected from each partnership. Now, when you're doing your work plan and budget, it's very important that whatever you're budgeting for is aligned to your theory of change and that it will enhance the investment readiness of the commercial partner. And then if you're budgeting for salaries, the salaries for both the commercial partner and the admin partner should not be more than 40% of your budget. So an example is if you're doing a budget of, for example, 100,000, or what you allocate to salaries cannot be more than 40% of the 100,000. It's very important that you review the guidelines on what is eligible and ineligible expenses. This has been provided in the CFP proposals, CFP guidelines. Please, before you do your budgets, please familiarize yourself with what is ineligible and what is eligible. The partnerships are expected to start, the implementation is expected to start in April 2025 next year. So the process is that currently you're expected to do your full proposal, and then we will review it internally, and then it will also go through IGC, And then contracting, we are hoping will happen. The announcement should happen either in December or in January. And then the three months are there for other things that you will require for the process. So when you're doing your project, remember we require cost share for this project. You're expected to provide at least 30% of cost share. So if your project is 100, the total budget is 100,000, 70% should come from P4G of the allocated expense, and 30% should come as a cost share. And then we allow you to budget for G&A cost. This is at a maximum of 7%. Next slide. Yes, so as I've mentioned before, it's important for you to read through the guidelines and look at what is acceptable and what is ineligible. So I'm going to look at what is ineligible in terms of cost share. So in terms of cost share, what is eligible is the salary expenses for the early stage and climate and the NGO. Travel and other non-salary expense, and equipment and products. So for example, you want to purchase an equipment for the project, that is eligible under cost share. What is ineligible is land, buildings, large infrastructure, and activities that are implemented in non-P4G countries. I have mentioned about the G&A. The G&A is P4G allows up to 7% of G&A. And now the G&A, we expect that you would provide, if you request for G&A at 7%, then we are expecting you to match the same percentage. So your cost share should also have an allocation of the same percentage of G&A. So if it's 7%, an expectation of 7% from P4G, there should also be a 7% matching from the cost share component. Next slide, Patricia. Yes. So now we've looked at cost share. Now we are going to look at what is eligible and ineligible using the P4G funds. So staff salaries are eligible, and as I have mentioned before, it's capped at 40% of your total budget that you're expecting from, you're requiring from P4G. Travel cost, preparation of reports. This excludes audit, because P4G will pay for the audit and facilitate the audit from our end. So please do not budget for audits in your projects. This will be covered by an additional budget from P4G. The monitoring and management of the project. So we do fund minor office supplies and minor office equipment. An example of this is computers, printers, and any supplies like paperwork, any supplies that you require, consumables in the office. External consultants and services, so long as they're provided at a cost and not being elevated at a certain percent. Communication costs, such as knowledge sharing, information dissemination, G&A, I have already talked about that at 7%. The non-eligible costs are purchasing, of course, any capex, land, buildings, infrastructure that would contribute to commercial business equity, supplies, equipment, property, vehicles, construction, any construction materials, even if it's like construction of a greenhouse, anything related to that is ineligible with the P4G fund. Product development, if you want to prepare anything that you feel like, or any software that has to be available in the public space, in the public domain, for you to use the P4G fund. It has to be an open source salary and travel expenses for large commercial partners. If you're a very big commercial partner, then we are not supporting the salaries of this. Any subsidy or of a financial mechanism, for example, de-risking. For example, you want to take a loan, you cannot use the P4G fund as a guarantee or anything. The next slide. So I'm going to share my screen and just take you through the work plan in budget Excel template. So please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you, Patricia. So these are the instructions. So the first tab is the instruction tab. Please take note of these instructions. It's very, very important because in previous submissions, we've seen like there's no emphasis on that has been done. People did not read through the instructions and ended up having a bit of errors. So that made us have a lot of back and forth in terms of reviewing your work plan and budget. And then it's important to mention that you're only required to fill the blue sections. So I'll go into the work plan. You will notice that it has blue sections. So these blue sections are the areas that you're expected to fill. So anything that is not blue should not be filled. Just fill these sections, the blue sections. Make sure that you put the partnership name. The partnership name is the lead business stage. So if you have a commercial partner, and then the administrative partner is the NGO. So you'd start with the lead admin partner. For example, an example would be like P4G as the admin partner, and for example, biodiversity as the commercial partner. And then you need to put the administrative partner
Excuse
name.
me, sorry, I'm not able to see the screen. I'm not sure if it's only me.
I think, yes, I can see it. Maybe it's I think it's your Teams.
Let me try and reshare again.
I can see it too.
Yes, I think it's your Teams. But yeah, Apollonia.
I have just reshared it.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Kendio, I'll see how we can share the link, but the link is provided in the P4G. Maybe Patricia, we can share this link in the chat so that anyone who is not able to see the screen can have that. Thanks. Yes, so here you're expected to fill it. You have a section where you're supposed to indicate who is responsible for what. So please make sure that it's indicated if it's the admin partner or if the commercial partner here. So when we get into the detailed budget, you also have the partnership name, the funding period. The funding period, I've said the projects will start, implementation will start in April. So the start date should be April going forward. Please don't have a start date that is March or February. The start date needs to be in April 2025 going forward. The period of performance is 18 to 24 months. It's important that you check that this is 18 to 24 months. So if you're having 18 months, you need to check that you have actually filled 6 quarters. If you're having 24 months, then you need to fill 8 quarters. If you're having 21 months, then you need to fill 7 quarters. It's important you check because we've seen other partnership who are filling, you fill 24 quarters, 8 quarters. And then if we look at the period of the performance or the funding period, you have indicated that it's 18 months. So it's important to have consistency in that. As I mentioned, you fill the blue section. Please do not fill these areas. These are have formulas. Please don't fill the gray section. Only fill the blue section. So if you want to look, if
I think Apollonia is having.
We lost connection.
Yes, we lost Apollonia. Let's wait for 1 minute. Otherwise, we can go with Kevin and come back. And Kevin, you wanted to go with the work plan and budget? I can share my screen to show the M&A indicators. You are in mute.
Yes.
Yeah, Apollonia is here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know what happened.
Don't worry.
Apologies.
You share your
So-
screen, right?
Yes, let me share it. My apologies on that. Okay. I don't know where you lost me. Sorry. Yeah, so I was talking about the sub goals, and it will automatically be pre-filled from what you have in your work plan. And then remember to fill the blue sections. Do not fill the gray sections. The gray sections have the formulas, and you only expected to populate the blue sections. So if you have, for example, salary, and you want to spread it over the quarters, then please do it from here, and then it will automatically populate in the it will automatically populate in the gray section where we have the grand total. Please do not fill anything. I'll emphasize on not filling anything on the gray sections. Once you're done, please check that your formulas are correct. Check that whatever you have on the blue section is adding up to what you have in the grand total. There's always a possibility of interfering maybe with one item or the other, and that changes what the totals that you have. So please confirm that what you have on the blue section is adding up to what you have in the gray section. We will also require you to fill the funding sections. This one, as I've mentioned, it's not supposed to be more than 70% of your total. P4G can only do 70%. And then the GNA here, it should be the equal. So you don't fill here, you will fill it here in this section. You will populate it depending on how much you're going to spend on the quarter. And then here we have the general summary, which will populate itself. And also here, it will automatically populate itself. Another area that we have noticed that partnerships forget is here, where you have section 5, the fund recipients. Please indicate how much is going to each partnership. So how much is going to the commercial partner, how much is going to the administrating partner, and this percentage needs to be 100%. And then here you also need to indicate, this is where you indicate the cost share. If you've indicated a cost share of 100,000, you need to let us know who is providing that cost share. So you indicate the name of the organization, the organization address, the type of contribution. Please note the type of contributions needs to be monetary, the value of contribution, and the period of the contribution. It's also important to mention if you have received funding before the P4G application. Here we have the tab we are calling the budget workings. So please do not add any row in this document. Please use the budget lines that you have been given. Don't add any line. So if you want to give, like, for example, you want to talk about the admin and you want to break it down, please do it in the budget workings. So if you want to give like a breakdown of the admin salaries, then you indicate the project staff, the name of the position, and then the rate, and then what the time you're expecting to be done in that project. So for example, if you say the project officer, the rate per month is 200, and then how many months this person is expected to work, and then the total project staff cost. Now, whatever you have here should add up to what you have indicated in this budget. So this is expected for all these. Please give a breakdown and a budget workings, but here you should just have the summary figures. For M&D, my colleague will talk about it, and also the risk assessment.
Let me share the presentation again. Now you can see it?
Not yet.
Okay, I don't know, Apollonia, before if you wanted to go to this section?
Patricia, I cannot see from my end. I can't see if you're sharing.
Yeah, 1 second. Now you can see.
Yes, thank you. Now, the things that you need to avoid is what I have mentioned, the section 1 to 6. It's important that it is filled. If you're unsure how to complete a section, please reach out to us. We will guide you. No capital expenses are allowed. I've talked about that, the equipment and all that for the P4G funding. If you want to look at intellectual property and you want it budgeted for, we do not do this unless it's going to be open source, that it's publicly available for use for any other person who is in the project. And then for scope and budget needs to be negotiated. P4G reserves the right on how the proposal submission will be on the full proposal scope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I will take you through the theory of change and a little bit of MND. So maybe you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So P4G, the theory of change is really important, and this really kind of showcases the different pathways towards the change that you anticipate through your solution or intervention. So that is very important and a mandatory requirement in terms of submission for partnerships to P4G. We also require the theory of change to be in a visual format, and it should be really reflective of the organizational vision and desired impact, that effect. And I'll be able to show you an example of a template that we recommend you to use. Again, of course, detailing the different pathways for change, we expect that your theory of change will have like the high-level activities, expected outputs or deliverables, outcomes, and the potential impact that you seek to realize during the course of P4G funding. It's also very critical for you to realize that the theory of change really informs the monitoring and evaluation framework that you will develop, or the results framework, and any relatable success metrics in the context of indicators. So the two should be able to speak to each other, the monitoring and evaluation framework indicators vis-a-vis the desired impact that is expected from the theory of change. And again, another critical component of the theory of change is that P4G's impact is realized through partnership measurements. So we expect you to really reflect on P4G theory of change and ensure that there's a close linkage between the TOC and the TOC that is provided, or really the TOC that P4G seeks to realize through its implementation period. So really reflect on what P4G desires to impact, then align your theory of change to that to ensure that we kind of speak together as a partnership. Again, the P4G theory of change can be found in the guidelines that are available on our website. So just a quick summary is that it is a very important component for P4G, and we expect that every partnership will be able to submit a complete theory of change that details the various components from problem analysis to the activities, outputs, outcomes, and impact. Next slide. So this is a template that we have provided before for other partnerships, and the one that we will also propose to you to use in designing your theory of change. And a quick way of developing a theory of change is to begin right at the very bottom where it says the problem analysis. So carry out the problem analysis of what you want to intervene in, depending on, again, on the sector. Once you have a clear problem analysis, you go straight to what is the desired impact of the solution or intervention that you want to propose to P4G. Then once you have your impact clear, it is then good to reflect on what are some of the long-term outcomes that your partnership seeks to attain in lieu to achieving the impact. Once that is concretized, it is good then to reflect on what are some of the short-term realizable outcomes that you can be able to achieve potentially in the course of P4G funding as a reflection of the impact that you will achieve eventually. And then, of course, you come to the outputs, which are like the immediate deliverables that we expect you to realize in the course of our funding. And then finally, you can then reflect on the high-level activities that you implement during P4G funding to be able to lead all the way to the desired impact. So this template, again, is very much available on our website, and I will encourage you to utilize this format and present to us as part of the proposal. Patricia, to the next. So that is a quick run through the theory of change. Another area that I think could be very critical and is part of the work plan and budget workbook that Apollonia has already shared is the M&D framework. So we'll expect you to complete that M&D framework. Number one is the completeness of that framework. So that framework has business indicators that we expect you to kind of provide baseline figures and targets. We already have proposed indicators to that effect, so we will not expect you to propose any additional impact, any additional business indicators in that section. Number two, it has impact indicators. Again, we have a number of them in that framework already proposed, and I will expect you to be able to provide baselines and targets during P4G funding and also post P4G funding. And then number three is actually what we are calling the gender markers. So we have, again, proposed about 4 indicators that are around gender mainstreaming that we expect you to be able to provide baseline figures and targets to that effect. The number 2 is the area of targets. It is also very critical that you reflect on the baselines that figures that you provide us with, and baseline figures are ideally the current situation of your interventions before P4G funding. So what is your reflection on the indicators before P4G comes in? We'll expect you to have those baseline figures for all the indicators. And then targets, we'll expect you to have targets during P4G funding and also targets after P4G funding. It is very critical that you give us targets that are very realistic. And I insist realistic because this is what we will hold you to account in the context of impact measurement of your intervention in the course of P4G funding. So really reflect on that and ensure that these targets are very realistic and attainable in the lifetime of P4G funding. The number 3 is the data source. So in that template, we have a section on data source. So we want you to clearly state the various data sources for the indicators that we are proposing, and also provide us with justifiable calculation methodologies to that effect. And data sources are very important for us because in case we want to do a data quality assessment, this is what we will refer to ensure that the kind of data you're providing to us has good integrity and is reliable and valid to be able to inform decision making. So that is a very key section for us. Another section that we have proposed is the indicator definition. So we have provided some general definition of indicators that are proposed in the M&D framework. So make sure you go through those definitions and align your targets and baselines those indicators. Because and the idea of having indicator definition is that so that we are on the same page regarding how we intend to measure our indicators going forward. So it's a section that I encourage you to familiarize yourselves with, and I'll also share a comprehensive document on the indicator definitions for your reference during reporting. And then number 4, we also recognize that P4G has kind of proposed some indicators around the business impact and gender. But you also know that you as the custodians of your solution or intervention also have an idea of what success looks like and what impact looks like. So you may have additional impact. You may have additional indicators that you feel could also better reflect impact of the work that you're doing. So we have a section down there called additional success metrics. So we encourage you to propose additional indicators and then provide baseline figures and targets during P4G funding and after P4G. And this is very critical for us in terms of measuring other areas that are not just P4G related. And then number five, is the theory of change. Again, like I mentioned, just ensure that there's a close alignment between the theory of change and your M&D framework, because ultimately the validity of your theory of change is reflected through the measurement of the monitoring and evaluation framework. So when the two are aligned, then it becomes easy to validate your theory of change in due course. But again, we are very much available to support you in case you need the same in the course of developing your proposal, or if you need any clarity to that effect. But I think finally what I want to say is that the M&D framework really measures the quantitative aspects of monitoring and evaluation. But we also have the qualitative aspects of it, and Patricia alluded to that at some point. So we have the knowledge products. So the qualitative aspects of M&D are actually the knowledge products that you'll be able to develop in the course of your partnership. And I think what we are looking at is, case studies around the success of your solution or technology or intervention in the context of investment readiness. So we'll expect a very concrete, case studies that speaks to that. And what we will do is, in the course of contracting, we'll be able to share a case study template that is reflective of what P4G wants to see in the context of success. And that will be very key for us. And in the course of continuous reporting, we'll expect you to provide us updates in the context of where you are in terms of formulating your case studies, developing them, and so on and so forth. I think that is all from me, and looking forward to working with you on the M&D aspects of P4G and success in your proposal development. Back to you, Trisha.
Thank you. I will go very briefly to let you time for Q&A. So just remember, we are still in the assessment of your in the process of this call. No. So what are the next steps? You have until the end of this month to submit the full proposal and the administrative partner organization assessment that I sent for like few hours ago. You should have it by email. All the information is always sent to the contact person, but we are expecting that the two lead partners have received the information, and we're expecting that you are here, in this. So just remember, we don't have any extension. It's not possible. And everything needs to be submitted by Airtable. Due to the high number of information, we cannot receive additional information if it's not requested by email. So just submit everything by Airtable. And if you have any question, contact us. And I know that some of the national platform liaison that are the persons that are inside in each of your country that the most of you have been already in contact will contact you to arrange some due diligence in-person visit. Well, we will visit your facilities and ask you specific questions to fully understand your proposal and your partnership. So that will happen in the next days, and we are planning to have those visits in October. Then you also should have received all the pitch sessions in batch have been already scheduled. So if you didn't receive the email, just send me an email because you need to have it in like the contact person in your inbox. December, at the middle of December, we're expecting to have the independent grant decision committee. Remember that who is taking the final decision is these external experts in the sector that are in different countries, where we'll decide if your partnership is selected or not. So you are advanced, you are shortlisted, but we need to have your full proposal and all these steps to fully understand that you are aligned with P4G. And remember, we have limited resources. It's a highly competitive process. We need to be balanced between country and sectors. So that is part of the decision that the IGC is taking. And by January, you will be at the late December or January, you will be notified about who will be successful or unsuccessful. And for those selected, we'll start the negotiations in between and finalize those between January and March. And we are expecting to start the implementation in April. That's why it's the date of the deadline. So now is the time for Q&A. I will stop to share my screen. And here you also have just finally your contact with our contacts of Kevin, Apollonia, and me. That happy to answer you anything if it's not in this call. Okay, so we have Pablo. Also, you can type your questions in the chat. Pablo, do you want to go ahead?
Hello, Patricia, Apollonia, Kevin, and everyone else. One quick question. At the beginning, you mentioned that there is a P4G summit next year upcoming in Vietnam, and that selected partnerships are expected to attend. Should we take this into account in the budgeting, or is it allocated through another stipend, especially for attending the event? How does that part work?
Yes, it's expected that you allocate resources for that. So we are expecting the timing is very tight. So because the summit is expected to be in April, that is when you are starting the implementation. But we aim that you can be there. Will be some specifics that will talk with you if you are selected about the process. But now it's important if you can allocate resources and can be in this part of the policy engagement. Correct me, Apollonia, if I am wrong, but yeah, we're expecting to see and consider more like depending on where you are, but is reasonable, no? So yes, it's only one person of the partnership that is expected to go. Yeah, correct me, Apollonia.
Patricia, that's correct. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay. Any other question? It's a lot of information. But yeah, it's easier if you have any question. Everything is written in the guidelines. Here. Yeah. You do. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to ask the question. Mine was on the organization assessment information. I went through the email and I was a bit, I needed some clarification. There is the link, which after going through, I felt like that was the administrative partner we're supposed to fill. And then there was 2 attachments, document, one Excel and one document, which I assume is what the commercial partner is supposed to fill, but you can correct me from there.
No, all the organizational assessment, as is written there, is from the admin partner. So that the 2 attachments is something that needs to be filled with the information of the admin partner and needs to be submitted in the link. So what is the organizational assessment is that with WRI will analyze, that is our whole organization will analyze the capacity that the admin partner has for managing the grant. So that's why it's the kind of information that we are asking. We send you to the contact person because it's the email for the contact, but we are expecting that all the information is from the admin partner for that. Perfect. Any other question? We'll send this recording and the deck with you. Apollonia, Peter.
Thanks, Patricia.
Oh, sorry. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, Peter from Care here. Thanks a lot. You said that you don't expect that we do lobbying activities. Is it still okay if it's relevant to the business case, or is it more that you're discouraging it?
It's not allowed to use our resources for any lobbying activity. It's a restriction that we have.
Thank you.
Apollonia, you want to comment something? Or Elizabeth?
Hi, everyone. If we would be chosen, how is the financial? We are a lead partner, administrative partner, sorry. And how is the financial reporting required? What kind of documents are needed to send? Is it only the Excel sheet or what else?
You mean for the financial information of the full proposal?
On the proposal, and not on the proposal. If we would be chosen, how is the financial reporting afterwards happening? What kind of requirements are there?
Yeah, okay, the reporting for the monitoring. Apollonia, you want to answer that?
Yes, sure, Patricia. So we are going to share the information once you are selected. We will have a training and just to guide you on what would be expected in terms of reporting. But currently we use Airtable, and that's where we will be expecting you to submit your reports. Thanks.
It's
Okay.
generally it's quarterly basis.
Patricia, I just wanted to mention that I have from the chat, I only have 6 partnerships that have confirmed attendance. It would be good for us to just get a representation on who has attended the session so that we know who we need to follow up with or even just guide on this. Thanks. Please indicate if your organization, the partnership has not been represented in the chat. Please indicate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Apollonia, for the reminder. Any other question? So maybe it can be overwhelming, the information, but I think it's easier if here we use that space, no? If you have any question. Okay, if not, in terms of time, we can close this session. So we'll share with you by email. If you have any other question by referring to the full proposal of the work plan budget and M&A that we indicate, just let us know, and we will be very happy to work with you and receive a very good proposals. So see you in your respective pitch. Thank you.